Hello, lazy learners. How are you all? I'm back with my third video of military battles, and the third battle is Arab-Israel war. So let's get started. The war took place between Israel and Arab countries, coalition led by Egypt and Syria from 6 October to 24 October 1973. Egypt and Syria initiated the conflict to regain territory that Israel had occupied since Six-Day War of 1967. Use of most modern and sophisticated weapon involved superpowers, which made the war most significant since World War II. Now, before going to the war, we need to learn the causes for which the war occurred. So, the causes of war. First cause, recapture of lost territory. Egypt and Syria failed to solve the territory dispute with Israel. Israel did not return the Sinai to Egypt and Golan Heights to Syria. Therefore, Egypt and Syria planned to recapture the lost territories. Israeli reluctance in negotiation. Israel's general staff thought that Israel was safe from Arab attack for the indefinite future. Therefore, Israel was reluctant for negotiation, felt no reason to return the territory to Egypt and Syria. This reluctance caused Egypt to think that what has been taken by force has to be regained by force. To create a situation favorable for a dialogue between the Israel and superpowers through attaining a limited military objective. Economical burden due to the war attrition. War of attrition against Israel from 1968 to 1970 compelled Egypt to purchase a huge amount of armament from Soviet Union on long permanent loan basis, and this caused heavy burden on Egyptian economy. To recover her economy, the rich oil field on Sinai will be a great help for Egypt, and therefore Egypt planned to attack on Israel. National will and moral. Consecutive losses in war against Israel deepened Arab sourness, especially the low morale of troops of Arab army and people were down. Therefore, Anwar Sadat, attempting to be a leader of the Arab world, failed to shed the humiliating losses of 1967, and this caused the war of 1973. Training and reorganization of Egypt army. Egyptian army was no match with the Israel Defense Force in terms of training and armaments. Therefore, after receiving enough modern armaments from USSR like MiG-23, SAM-6, RPG-7, Sagar, ATGM, and proper training, he reorganized Egyptian army. When Egypt found that its army came to a tactical parity with the IDF, then Egypt started taking preparation for war against Israel. Ambition of Syria. Hafiz al-Assad, the head of Syria, had a different view. He has little interest in negotiation and felt retaking of the Golan Heights would be a purely military option. Since in the Six-Day War, Assad had made a massive military build-up and hoped to make Syria the dominant power in Arab world by defeating Israel and war. Therefore, Assad thought with the help of Egypt, Syria can attain her aim. Now, if we talk about this war, basically there are two fronts. One is Sinai or Egyptian front and another one is Golan Height. In this video, we will describe deliberately about the Sinai or Egyptian front. If you want to get the video on Golan Heights front, then please subscribe this channel, because after this video we are going to create the Golan Heights front. So in the Sinai or Egyptian front, at first let's discuss about the Egyptian preparation for the war. Now there were some preparations at strategic level, like replacing Minister of War. As the Minister of War, Sadek was not ready to execute the plan codenamed Granite 1 to recapture Sinai. He was dismissed, and General Ahmed Ismail Ali was in the same line with the Anwar Sadat and amended the Granite 1 into Granite 2 to recapture Sinai. New doctrine. New doctrine in the Egypt army provided motivation and hatred of the enemy and for liberation of the sacred lands. Training of Egyptian army. An intensive and goal-directive training program was introduced. The units were trained in their specific tasks under Granite 2, and large-scale exercises were conducted by General Headquarters for the Egyptian 2nd and 3rd Army. Deception. One of the important factors was deception in Egyptian preparation. Egypt only worked secretly with Syria to achieve surprise and strategic advantage against Israel. Now the preparation at tactical level. Air defense. With Soviet assistance in the Egyptian had built one of the strongest anti-air systems in the world to neutralize Israeli air force. Anti-tank missiles. Egyptian armed forces and particularly infantry were equipped with an abundance of anti-tank weapons like Sagar, man-portable wire-guided anti-tank missile, RPG, anti-tank RL, missile, etc. to neutralize Israeli strong armor. Construction of Irish Bridge. Many Irish bridges below water level are completed, along with Suez Water Canal to enable smooth traffic to Suez Canal. Construction of ramparts. Along the canal, they erected 86 ramparts, each 30-meter high, to enable observation and direct fire across the canal. Construction of roads. Dozens of approached roads to the canal were constructed to bring the force near the canal easily. Now the Egyptian operational plan. In first phase, the 2nd and 3rd Army was to attack with their 5 infantry divisions to execute a bridgehead 10 to 12 km deep and be ready to continue the attack. In phase 2, the armored and mechanized divisions would pass these infantry divisions to penetrate Mitla and Gidi passes and retake the West Sinai. And in third phase, establishment of strong defensive position after successful completion of phase 2. The infantry divisions would move forward to replace the armored and mechanized forces that would withdraw. Since they had to cross the water obstacle, so they had a deliberate crossing plan. So in the crossing plan, at first infantry units to cross using raft or boats to protect engineers for their uninterrupted work, setting of heavy bridges for armor and light bridges for infantry. Sand shelters were prepared in West Bank for the protection of crossing. Nearly 2,000-kilometer roads were made for increased maneuver. Engineers were also used to prepare artillery firing position, including anti-tank in their side of the canal. Huge number of fire positions were also prepared in West Bank for protection of crossing. Employment of commando. All the divisions were given with a commando battalion to cover the crossing and advance by occupying important defiles. Engineers' contribution in the canal crossing operation. In the first 2 hours, the number of military engineers crossed the canal exceeded 15,000. Their most important task was to cut off gaps in the Israeli sand ramparts. In the contributions, with second wave, 8 engineer units crossed over and powerful water pumps were put into operation. The high velocity water jets of these pumps quickly sliced gaps in the sandbank. The purpose was to wear down the bank as rapidly as possible to make them passable initially for amphibious vehicle and finally to be used as ferries and bridge sites. About 8 such gaps were created and engineers started to fix the floors of these passages which had turned into mud 1 meter deep in some areas. Various material and equipment were used to make the surface hard, firm and dry road belts on which tanks and other vehicles could move easily. The engineers could open up some gaps within 2 hours from starting their work. With a surprising speed and within 9 hours, they made 60 gaps, 10 bridges and 60 ferries. 2 general type of bridges were also laid. Now, the deployment of Egyptian force prior to the crossing. First, the Second Army. The Second Army consisted of 3 infantry divisions, namely 2, 16 and 18 infantry divisions, 1 armored division which is 21 armored division and 1 mechanized division which is 23rd mechanized division was deployed between the Mediterranean Sea and the southern edge of the Great Bitter Lake, the area between Quantara in the north to Devesor in the south. Third Army. Third Army comprised of 2 infantry divisions, namely 7 and 19 infantry divisions, 1 armored division which is 4 armored division and 1 mechanized division which is 6 mechanized division. This army was deployed in between the southern edge of the Great Bitter Lake and the head of the Gulf of Suez. Now the Israeli defense plan and their deployment. The Israeli Sinai defense was based on operational plan Shovak Yonim, which called for the Barlev outpost line along the canal. This line was to be reinforced by armor in the event of an attack. The plan was first use of the regular force in the line to cause attrition and delay the crossing. To the end, it would be reinforced with tanks, infantry and artillery units. Israeli deployment. Prior to the Egyptian crossing, Israeli 1 division was deployed along Barlev line called Sinai Division Commander by General Mandlar. Their deployment was 2 infantry brigade was deployed, mostly guarding the strong points on the Barliv line. Their armored brigade was deployed wider along a canal bank, mainly Kwantara Chinese Farm, and at the south of Great Bitter Lake. Development of the battle. First, the Egyptian attack on 6th October. At about 1400 hours on 6th October, 250 aircraft took off and carried out attack on Barliv Line strongholds, communication centers, 3 air bases, 10 Hawk-Sam missile sites, and artillery positions, etc. Fire from 1850 artillery guns was delivered on the east bank. Infantry and commando crossed the canal on the raft or rubber boats. Then engineers started to wash out sandbanks with the help of water pump. Within 9 hours, they made 60 gaps, 10 bridges and 60 ferries. Overnight, the Egyptians put across 500 to 700 tanks, large number of heavy equipment, trucks, cannon, APC, etc. By morning of 8 October, they were in defense position as planned. Infantry in the front, mechanized in the middle, and armored in the rear. Now, Israeli counterattack, Battle of Firdan, and Egyptian consolidation, which was on 8 to 18 October. To neutralize the Egyptian commando operations, a mechanized task force was raised under Brigadier General Megan in the north and under Major General Sharon in the southern sector. The first major IDF counterattack was launched by 2 battalions of a brigade of General Adan Division on 8 October. The leading battalion had initial success but ambushed by Egyptian infantry. Egyptians destroyed 2 armored units on that day. During 11 to 13 October, 2 Egyptian armored divisions moved across the canal. Egyptian second attack, which occurred on 14 October. On 14 October morning, 2nd and 3rd Army launched their major offensive. The 3rd Army attacked towards Mitila Pass with its secondary attack towards Gidi Pass. The Israeli defeated the attack with heavy Egyptian casualty. Then Israeli counter-offensive or canal crossing, which was named as Operation Gazelle, occurred from 15th to 17th October. On 15th October night, one armored brigade fought the way to the planned crossing site. Sharon Division crossed the canal on 16 October at 0200 hours. Sharon split his force into raiding parties and sent them to search and destroy the SAM sites. The raiders destroyed 4 SAM sites, which allowed IAF an air corridor to operate. On 17th October, Adnan's division ambushed 25th Independent Armored Brigade from front and right flank. Isolation of 3rd Army, which occurred 18 to 19 October. On 18 and 19 October, bridges were launched and Israeli forces started crossing. On 20th October, Sharon tried to capture Ismailia but was fiercely beaten back by Egyptians. On 19th October, Adnan's division attacked westward and then south and captured Genifer Hill. Ceasefire was imposed on 22 October and by then Adnan and Megan occupied 20 to 30 km west of the canal. On 23rd October night, Adnan reached the outskirts of the Suez city, thus isolating the Third Army from Egypt towards west. Now, if we discuss about the failure of the Egyptian attack, then we will get number of points. Likely the initial aim and training. Now if we want to discuss, Egyptian initial aim was limited to recapture the Sinai desert. The soldiers were trained for initial part of the operation and they performed excellent. They were not trained much for the mobile operation at the later stage. Like this, lack of flexibility, lack of coordination, poor passage of information, lack of adequate reserve, and inferiority of the force are very much important. But in this battle, the deception plan that the attacking force took before the attack was an excellent example of deception. We also have much lessons to learn from this battle. So if you want to learn, you can visit www.militarybattles.tk. If you want to learn about this battle and get the document of this battle, you can visit this link. Again, if you want to learn other battles, the third link which I have shown are also very important. I will give all those in my description box. You can get those to visit all the websites. So if you like this video or all other videos which I have, or like my channel, you can subscribe. That will help me building more good videos for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye bye.